So we're really excited. It's a brand new label. It's a brand new winery that I started working on with the Upright family, maybe 2 years ago now. It's a work in progress, but we're excited about where it's going. The Upright family purchased the old Dutch Henry winery up in Calistoga. It burned down in the 2020 fires, after which they acquired the property. We've replanted the Cabernet on the property, about 2.5 acres. Property is about 12 acres total. The winery burned down, but the residence and the caves are still there, and we are applying for our minor modification with the County of Napa to rebuild the winery to our specifications to make the wines that we want to make under the Parable label. So it's going to be a long haul. It doesn't happen overnight, but we're excited about bringing the property back to life. The meaning of Parable, it's a short story that teaches you a lesson. And it's spelled P-A-R-A-B-L-E. I think wine is a parable in of itself, and every vintage is a little bit different. It teaches you a new story, and wine is a story in a bottle. So we're excited about having the trademark and making a bunch of different stories under the Parable label come to life. So we're making vineyard designate Chardonnays. We're making vineyard designate Cabernets. I think we'll probably make some red blends as well. Maybe a Syrah under the Parable label, or red blend, kind of Rhone blend. These are all possibilities. The things that are for sure right now are Chard and Cabernet. And they're all works in progress. Our first release will hopefully come towards the middle of 2024, when we have labels on bottles and we're ready to go. The Uprights are investors in Kale Wines, and they became investors in Kale Wines in 2020, and they saw how much fun we were having, and Kale Wines is also going through some changes as well. So a lot of these wines that were made under Kale Wines will in the future be made under the Parable label as a part of the the merging of the businesses. We love being here at the Wine Foundry, where we custom crush Kale Wines, Parable Wines, among other brands that we consult for through Kale Consulting. But we are interested in building this new winery in Calistoga and being able to make some wines with our own hands up there also. We will continue to make wines here, for forever, hopefully. But maybe up in Calistoga, we'll be specializing in very small lot, kind of high-end wines up in Calistoga. I think if you looked at the numbers, there are more wines made down here in the industrial park than they're made up valley, or a lot of those wines that you taste up valley are made down here, and that's by design. I mean, the beautiful thing about being in an industrial park is if you need to grow, you can grow. If you need to shrink, you can shrink. If you need to get your barrels, you walk around the corner. If you need to make some sparkling wine, you walk across the parking lot. If you need your barrels repaired, the barrel repair guy's right there. If you need something welded, the welder supply shop is right there. So it's a community down here that it's not super sexy. It's not up on the doesn't have a amazing view of the valley, and it doesn't have beautiful facade and whatnot. It's just a working winery. What we like the most about being here at the Wine Foundry is that we have all the equipment that we need. We do all of our own lab work with a FOSS machine. We have an optical sorter, so we can sort as much as anyone can sort their fruit, mog out of their fruit. We have a basket press. We have all the toys that I can't afford to buy for myself, and we share them. I was born in San Diego, grew up in Santa Rosa, where my parents and my sisters and their families still live, I grew up without wine on the table, really knowing nothing about wine. Even though I grew up in Santa Rosa, I knew a lot of wine families, but it wasn't a part of my family tradition or culture or anything like that. I really knew very little of wine when I was in high school. We were not drinking wine in high school. We were drinking other things, a little bit cheaper.
Who wasn't?
I grew up not in the middle of the wine industry. I fell in love with wine when I went to UC Davis. So I went to Davis as an undergrad, interested in being a doctor or doing pre-med or something thereof. And discovered wine in my third year, and took an introductory class, was intrigued. I took the introductory class because it they called it a triple dipper because, it satisfied three different things: writing, English, science, or something like that. So I took the class and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I just learned so much about my hometown, Santa Rosa. So I was like, what is this really about? And I was at the time really interested in using science, being creative. I love the outdoors. I love to do outdoor sports. I love to spend time outdoors. I love to make things with my hands. I love to travel. All of these things, the viticulture and enology program kind of checked all these boxes. But I was like, wine? I don't know. There's a whole bunch of marketing surrounding wine. Is that just a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo? I needed to convince myself. Yeah. So I went on a journey while I was at school, joined DEVO, the student organization there at Davis, and joined all the tasting groups that I could, study groups or just or friend groups doing blind tastings and whatnot. And I found that the marketing mumbo jumbo that I thought might be mumbo jumbo, talking about terroir, it wasn't mumbo jumbo. It was real, and there was a tasting. So Jeff Mangahass was the student leader of Devo, I think, at the time, and he was at least in charge of all the tastings. That was super fun, and there was a tasting Rhones around the world. So there was a domestic Syrah, there was an Australian Shiraz, there was a Spanish Garnacha, there was... What else was there? There was, I think there was a Chateauneuf de Pape in there. So all sorts of the Rhone varieties blinded, and I was like, oh my gosh, all these wines are so different, but it's from the same genetic material. Terroir's got to be real. I can really sink my teeth into this. And in the process of doing all these tastings, I also realized I had a really sensitive palate. And then after that, I did an internship at J Wine Company in Healdsburg. The only reason why I did an internship at J was because it was close to my parents' house, and the sparkling harvest happened so early I could make it back for the fall quarter.
Oh, nice.
To finish my studies at Davis. But I'm so glad I worked at J, because this is when Judy Jordan owned it. And I learned a lot. I had a lot of great teachers, mentors, coworkers. Made a lot of saved some money by living at my parents' house for the summer, and got fully bit by the wine bug. KaleWines.com. Our consulting website is KaleWineConsulting.com for our consulting, and hopefully we'll have a Parable website very soon.